At it. We are now live. We are right back at it. Um, a lot happened this week, Jake.
It did. It did. Most of it good.
Yeah. NorCal won most of the championships.
Yep, they
I don't,
did.
know, I don't even know what game to start with.
Biggest to smallest.
Let's start with the biggest to smallest. De La Salle versus Santa Margarita for the Open Championship, and yet, 8 years. Was this 8 years in a row?
Yeah.
8 years in a row, De La Salle can't get it done. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you, bro. That offense got to go in the trash.
I mean, that could be part of it. Part of it is like, I'll give you a good example. I watched the last night. I watched on NFHS Buford, Georgia against Carrollton, Georgia, and when I tell you the quality of athlete that I saw just across the board was like, those dudes have no problem lining up against anybody from Southern California, either team. And I think, unfortunately, what we have is, it's a combination of a lot of things, but they got access to some bodies in Southern California, just the sheer density of the area. And, De La Salle was whooping those guys for a long time in the open game. And I think there was a point in time, I want to say maybe 10, 11, 12 years ago, where I think they all kind of looked at each other, the Matter Days and the Boscos of the world, and they said, hey, you know what? They can call us whatever they want, recruiters, cheaters, whatever, but they ain't going to call us losers. And they made that decision. And there was an article in the Mercury, and the De La Salle guy said something to the effect of, like, we're going to keep doing things the way we're doing them. We're going to run our school as in, education first, and we're not going to allow, post ninth grade entry transfers, or not allow, but they just really don't do that. And that's really going to, without kind of an infusion of some additional dudes, they're just not, nobody's winning that game. Nobody from up here is going to win that game without that caliber of body. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. Send somebody else, I guess you could try.
Yeah, but it's been 8 years in a row, bro. But this ain't. But this ain't the old. This ain't the old times at De La Salle. This ain't. They're not Debo no more. They're not. You know what I'm saying? It's like now it starts to act. Now it starts to wonder. Now you gotta start asking the questions. So could Folsom have beaten De La Salle
this year?
Yeah,
maybe. And Reardon could have, maybe. I mean, there's like a lot of hypotheticals. Like, one of the things we do, like when we come on here, and I know it makes some of the peanut gallery crazy, right? But like, who cares, whatever. But like, what we try to do in any of these games is we try to look and go, all right, here's the matchups. Here's what we think might happen. Here's what's happening based on, kind of what we've seen or whatever. And in looking at both teams, I've watched, Reardon play quite a bit, watched De La Salle play quite a bit, watched Folsom up close and personal. They're all kind of talent-wise, in terms of ability, they're kind of all in the same neighborhood. They might be a little bit better in one spot versus another. But those would all be good games, I guess. I mean, we could say that for sure. I don't think anybody would argue with that.
Yeah. It's just like, I think now we got to start trying, because we're going on a decade.
Yeah, you know what the problem is, Carl, and because I worked in schools for so long, and whether it's private or public, like, what we think and what we care about, and even what the fans and the parents care about, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's the people that are in the office, and it's the people that are running the show. And I think, and when you look at SoCal, when you look at those schools down there, at some point, somebody in that office, right, that had power, whether it's a principal or the president or whatever, said, this is going to be our focus. Go get the dudes. We'll deal with the fallout, whatever. We don't care. And I just don't think anybody up here is willing to do that. And maybe, I don't know, maybe for good reason. Maybe that's, when is over the top, right? When have you sold your soul to the devil to win high school football games? Is it what Matter Day's doing? Is it what Folsom? Is it what, I don't know. Can you get the people that are in charge of the school?
Oh, Jake, your mic is staticking.
Oh, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Say it's just staticking. I don't know why.
Hold on a second. What about now?
Still staticking. Why is it doing that?
I don't know. Let me mess with this a little bit. Hold on a second. Stay in studio. How about now?
Still staticking.
Okay, let me just go to the I'll switch and go to my phone real quick. I'm using my iPad right now, which I probably shouldn't do.
Yeah, I don't know why that thing's staticking.
Let me switch over real quick. Carl. Yeah, let me turn this one off.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, people. Okay, yeah, we back.
All right, good deal. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it was the iPad or something. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, man, what the answer is. So at the end of the day, the games got played, and I guess if we're starting with that one, that it was not really much of a game at all.
Someone said, was it true De La Salle hadn't played in 22 days before the state game?
Yeah, and that probably didn't help. You know, that's a legitimate that's a legitimate piece of it. Did it, at the end of the day, did it make it, a critical difference? I saw guys getting moved. I saw guys from De La Salle that hadn't been moved by anybody all year, that hadn't been tossed around, got tossed around. That's the long and short of it. Did it suck that they had a layoff? Yeah, but that didn't make the difference, I don't think.
Yeah, it don't make a difference. I just think they got to go ahead and they got to change some things around, move some things around, change some things around to get things back into order, back into place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I know a lot of good, some good people over there at De La Salle, but 8 years in a row, man.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
They shut Jefferson down. Yes, they definitely did. They tried to bully that man. That dream was ridiculous.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
What the commenter said, it wasn't fair or whatever. I think it goes back to I think the one thing that could happen, and that you and I talked about, and I think a lot of people have talked about, is reopening the idea of open for the North, and give Folsom and Reardon and whoever else kind of presents themselves a shot at the Spartans.
So if they were to do that, would it be a 14 bracket?
I think that's what they would come up with. Yeah, they would come up with a 14 bracket, and they'd play. I think they would start everything at the same time, right? So in other words, they would say, "Hey, the season's over. All right, we're going to start divisions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the open, and play it out, and then be in line." And I think that's the goal in general statewide, is to get in line and get everybody playing at the same time and ending at the same time, so you don't have these crazy layoffs. I think that's not good for anybody.
Yeah, I think they should probably do a 17 bracket for an open bracket. A 17 bracket. You put the best of the best out there. Yeah, and they gotta battle it out. That sounds reasonable. A 17 bracket.
You'd have to do 4, 6, or 8, I guess, but I think.
Oh yeah. 6. Yeah, then a 16 bracket. You bring the best of Fresno. You bring 2 of the best in the Bay. You bring.
Well, you bring your section at the end of the day. What you do, your section champions, but I think it's less about the regional games, because I think the regional games are pretty good. It's creating a situation where there's an open regional game, right?
Yeah.
But in order to get to that open regional game, then they have to adjust what they're doing in the North Coast section and stop giving De La Salle kind of that, sliding them right into that spot and actually playing it out.
Like everybody else.
Like everybody else, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think they need to do an open bracket. The CIF needs to go ahead and do that because it just makes it fair, makes it better. And bro, 8 years in a row.
I know. Now the good news is, in a lot of the other games, things went well. And,
But they also say this that with the other games, like SoCal puts a lot of. So for example, when Pacific played Central East, they said Pacific is really a D4 team.
Yeah, there's a couple things. The divisions are not always done exactly the way that they maybe should be as far as the size of the schools. But here's the other reality, man, is the Southern Section Division I bracket is murderer's row. You've got Mission, you've got all the Trinity League schools and so on, and Corona Centennial. And so what you end up with from their end is truly the best of the best as far as that bracket goes, but then they also eliminate a lot of their better teams. If they busted that up a little bit, our record in those games this last week would not have looked what it looked like, because you would have had, now instead of playing, for example, like who did St. Mary's played? Bakersfield Christian?
Yeah.
And then Central East played Pacifica?
Yeah.
Yeah, what if now St. Mary's is playing Mission Viejo? What if Central East is playing Corona Centennial? Because if they kind of did what we do up here, which is they kind of identify early on who their best team is and kind of send them right off the bat and then give everybody else a chance in the other divisions, it might be a different deal. They're not going to do that. I've talked to lots of people, and their deal is like, we're going to play this difficult bracket, and whoever gets out of it gets out of it. And that may be our saving grace.
Yeah, that would be our saving grace. Central East played amazing. I want to give a special shout out to Central East. You guys have supported me and my content when I first started making content. Every time I talk about Fresno, the whole city of Fresno turns up. Jake knows about it. But I want to give a special thank you to Central East. I appreciate y'all for supporting my content, and I'll forever root for you guys. Forever. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all have showed me mad love. Thank you, Central East, for everything. I can't say it enough, but thank you, and I will be at a game next year for sure. I'm going to make that drive to freaking Fresno.
They did a good job, man. They offensively, their big receiver, he was the truth, man. Really, really good. Went up and got the ball. They ran the ball pretty decent. Defensively, they played probably better than they had all the way through the NorCal and so on. Like really tightened up. And if not for a few kind of little mishaps or whatever, they probably run away with that thing at some point, like late third, early fourth. And it was tight. Credit to the other team. They're not, they're a second champion. They're not just going to lay down. But ultimately, yeah, Central East kind of proved themselves to be like right up there in the class of NorCal. And
yeah, and they had Central East had a slow start. Jelani definitely missed some passes.
mm-hmm.
The game should have been probably about 60 to something.
Mm-hmm.
Jelani it took him a while to find his rhythm.
Yeah,
but he still balled. He still did good. He did what he was supposed to do. But it took him a little while to find that rhythm. And yeah, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Matters is the trophy. It's there.
Yeah, they got the trophy. I'm sorry for Pacific. This is the second time they lost back to back.
Yeah, I think they played Grant at one time.
They played Grant. So Grant was D2? No, D1 AA?
Yeah, something like that. And remember, those divisions are
tricky,
wonky too. So
you know what I know with the CIF do, and they need to stop it. Man, they need to stop giving teams that lose runner-up trophies. Man, that I feel like that's just worse. When you give somebody a runner-up trophy and it says runner-up on the goddamn trophy, and then you take it, man, just get nothing. Because I feel like that's more disrespectful giving someone a trophy that lose and the same type of trophy structure at that. You know what I'm saying? They need to just go ahead and just, hey man, thank you, and just get nothing. Just don't get nothing at all. Don't have nothing to bring back to the school, because I feel like it's far more disrespectful giving a second place team a trophy. Because you can tell the Pacific coach, he was kind of mad, bro. He was kind of hot about it. He was like, bro, I really don't want this. Why are you? He even believes he should have just really just got nothing. Just a thank you and keep it going. Let's hit the bus.
Yeah.
Bro, we didn't got solved, Jake. Damn it, this generation done got solved.
Well, I think there's, like as football, I was just having a talk with the guy tonight about, we're just talking about like assistant coach, head coaching and different things. There's a lot of lots of things are brewing right now with like guys that step down and other guys are moving around and so on and so forth. And we're just kind of talking, and here's the ugly reality for coaches is we're not in control of a lot of this stuff. We certainly, we can't control what the administrators do. And we sure cannot, nobody can control what they do at the highest level at the CIF. They're going to kind of do what they want. I think the one thing they could do, because think about this, whether it's Pacifica or whoever lost, you want to take your kids and kind of go off to the side and talk to them and talk to them about all the good things they did and make them feel good about a tremendous accomplishment of making it to the final and all that stuff. But you want to do it kind of off camera. You want to kind of do it, off to the side, and let the guys that are the champions, because they earned it. Let them celebrate in the middle of the field and the TV cameras and all that stuff. It's, to me, I've always found a little bit weird making the runner-up kind of stand there in front of the camera, and I could probably do without that part of it. So
yeah, just don't give me anything. Don't give me a freaking trophy that says runner-up.
Yeah.
That sucks. Then you got to put it in your school. I'll be hot. I'll be mad in the mug. I ain't even gonna lie. But one thing Central East need. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
Oh no, go ahead.
The one thing Central East needs to do, and I challenge them to do this, they're going to have to beef up their schedule.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure that
next year Central East is going to have to put more competition on their schedule, so the whole California can hear them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not listening. They just hear y'all, Central East.
Yeah.
You got to get California to listen. But right now, they just hear y'all. They just hear y'all roaring. But you got to put some meat on that schedule so we can get California to respect y'all a little bit more. Yes, they have the talent. Yes, they have the ability. Yes, they have the coaching staff. Yes, they got the front seven, because a lot of the front seven is coming back. Yes, they have that. They hit all the aspects, but they got to put some meat on that schedule. That you know what I'm saying? They was eating bones.
Yeah.
I mean, Grant, that was cool comp, but that wasn't. Grant had a really bad year this year, But they got to put some. They got to put some comp. They got to put some big dogs. You see what Pittsburgh did?
Yeah, and I think the old saying holds true, right? Strike when the iron's hot. And right now, Central East, their iron is hot. They got the chance to be able to play some marquee games, to play some games that are maybe televised, that are out there. And I think you see that with all programs that are kind of at a high level, or they're making the climb. They get themselves out in front of people outside of their region. Because I mean, shit, I was guilty of it, man. I watched them a little bit here and there, and I thought, when I picked the initial game, I thought Pitt would get them, and then the more I obviously watched that game and watched them in general, I didn't know enough about them. Part of it is because they're in that area, which is maybe a little bit isolated, and it was like that. Like when we were at Merced, and we were very good, but we had to play some teams kind of out of the area to kind of get our name out there a little bit. And I think now that they've won the state, they're going to get all sorts of takers. They'll get. Go play Cardinal Newman up north. Go play somebody in Southern California. Have somebody really good come to Fresno and bring somebody marquee to Fresno. And I think their coaches have done a really good job. I think they get it. They understand what the deal is, and I think they're ready to up the schedule a little bit and get some good people on there. And I think it'll be good for their brand. It'll be good for their.
They just got to put some meat on that schedule, man. Once they put some meat on that schedule, do that talking because their quarterback coming back. Number 18's a beast.
Oh, that dude's ridiculous, man.
That's beast.
Really.
Boy's beast. Ooh, they call him Baby Calvin Johnson. He about 6'4", 3.
He's big. The only other receiver that I saw kind of that caliber. I watched that. Like I was telling you, I watched that game from Georgia, and this kid from Buford that's going to the University of Georgia, was kind of like of that caliber. So they've got some dudes that really can play at a high level, and I think they're going to get some dudes walking in. Let's call it what it is, right? I mean, you start winning, and everybody in the area
want to come out there. Hey, Fresno, remember, man, I turned y'all up too. Now, make sure y'all give Coach Carl his credit because I saw the potential. I saw y'all the jump, but that was good.
Our area. Saw the one guy in the comments said Grant, a sleeping giant, on their way back or something like that. And they, for sure, they have the dudes. I think the
discipline. They have to master the art of discipline. No one's forgot about Grant. They are tremendous. They have everything you need.
Yeah.
Good quarterback. Blake is coming back. He'll be able to play a good season. Wide receivers, Zoe. Their running backs are coming back. They probably got to beef up that O-line and get some new DBs and D-linemen. Linebackers is great. Their leading tackler was a sophomore. I don't think he was a leading tackler, but he was a sophomore, and, man, he was tremendous. He's coming back. So Grant has pieces. Grant just battles the art of discipline. Let's all say it together. Discipline. Let's say it one more time for the people in the back that can't hear, that's driving, trying to listen to us. Discipline. If Grant can master the art of discipline, I challenge Grant, Union High School, to a challenge. Beat at least 2 disciplined teams next year. Whether it's Folsom, Oak Ridge, Cardinal Newman, which I don't see how they lost that. Well, the quarterback threw 7 interceptions. Who else is a pretty good disciplined team out in the area?
They play SFL schools, and they have in the past, the last couple of years, they've been able to beat them. I agree with you. I think it was a tough year. I think a lot of wild things happened that,
off the field
derailed them a little bit. And I know Carl is a great dude and really cares about that school and a lot of the guys that coach there. And I think they got to kind of shake their deal up a little bit. And every coaching staff, me, right? Because I've been head coach and assistant coach. I think every coaching staff at the end of the season has to have a come to Jesus meeting. Everybody's got to sit in the room. And the head coach has to be the first guy to say, hey, you know what? These are the things we did well. These are the things that I maybe didn't do that great. Open forum. Whoever wants to chime in, let's put it up on the board right now and let's get it right. And so I think they will do that. I think everybody in the, that is doing football right now needs to do that. And when they do that, they're going to identify, hey, we were a little bit out of control, did some wild stuff pre-game against Folsom. And then, kind of throughout the year, there were some things. And if they get that right, they'll be right back to where they were at.
Discipline, Grant. If you watching this, discipline. God, y'all might be the most undisciplined team in California, arguably in the West Coast. Low-key, at this point, you can say in the nation.
Yeah.
You can make that argument that Grant Union High School is the most undisciplined team in the nation. You can honestly make that argument. But if they can just master the art of discipline, they will go back to that powerhouse form.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it.
What about
and they can
friends?
Shoot, if you compete for our open, huh?
Our friends, the Rams, they got their state championship against us.
I'll let you handle that, man.
Oh, here's my thing, right? This is what I think. Anytime you have a platform like this, right? And this is more your deal. Like I'm going to go back to, when we're over tonight, I'm going to go back to, trying to kind of dial in our off season where I'm at, and there's some other things that are kind of brewing right now that you and I have talked about. But this, I feel like we have accountability here, right? I'm going to tell you straight up, I picked flat out wrong on Central East. Now, we were right, and I was right on 90% of the other picks, especially in the state game. But I'm going to tell you that particular week, didn't watch enough film, botched it. Central East, badass, great program. St. Mary's, you know, the fans were going nuts. Oh, you hated on us, whatever. What did I say? I said, you're going to go into the Sarah game and you're not going to be able to do what you did the week before. You're going to have to throw. It's going to have to be balanced. It's going to go down to the wire. And what happened? They had to throw. They had to be balanced. It went down to the wire. And I don't know why people
tell them that.
Why people are so butthurt and so upset about that stuff.
It's just like, Stockton people. Jake, I'm just keep it about. It's just people in Stockton. No one else is mad at us. Fresno, they was mad at you for a minute, but they was like, whatever, man.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this, right? They pulled out that game against Sarah, and we can say, you know, down to the wire, Sarah, you know, did some like pretty wild stuff on defense at the end there, but that's their prerogative. They could run whatever they want. And St. Mary's pulled it out, and then they got to the state game, and they did. They played fantastic, and it was back and forth, and it was a battle, and Bakersfield Christian also, like, you know, represented themselves, and I thought played, you know.
Bakersfield Christian did the dumbest stuff ever.
They did.
You force
for sure.
You force a fumble. You get the ball back. You throw a great dot to whoever that quarterback. Oh my God, man! Derek Carr is a great quarterback coach. You throw a dot, you catch the ball. The game is in your hands now. I think there was on 5. I can't really remember. So they come out with the jumbo package.
Yeah, correct.
Why are you doing 2 jumbo packages plays, then running the ball on the opposite half instead of trying to get it in the center? Then on the last play, Jake, they decide to throw a jump ball on the other side of the hash instead of trying to put the football back in the middle of the field so your kicker can tie the game up.
Yeah.
That makes 0 sense.
No, I know. There were some
0 sense. Like, I've never seen nothing. You would have thought that shit was rigged. I was like, wait, they didn't even try to put the ball back in the middle of the field. In the middle of the field.
I don't disagree.
They lost the state championship game because, on all honesty, if they just would have just not thrown, I don't know if the passing was working for them. If they would have just thrown the ball, gave it to, I think, that boy number 12, Smith, or other boy number 2, to get in the end zone. Now you up. Now your defense can probably get another stop. God, boy, you would have thought that shit was rigged. Well, I tell you.
At the end of the day, like what, you know, I think they made some decisions that they probably wish they could take back. St. Mary's trying to go for it, coming out on their own 13, kind of towards the end of the half, and giving those dudes the ball right there. You know, I think if Franks had that this over again, maybe he punts there. But at the end of the day, his players kind of absolved him of that sin, you know, and won the game, and you know, tight, whatever, but at the end of the day, they won. And great for the city of Stockton, great for the school, great for the kids. I think I have 0 hate or dislike for any of the people there. I think they're doing a great job, and I think they will go into next year, you know, probably the favorite in their league, and got a pretty tough schedule again if they keep the people that they have on there right now, and they will continue to, you know, to move forward and be good, and kudos to them. So let's do the next one before we get more upset here. What was the next one? The next one was Wood Creek,
Bishop O'Dowd.
Bishop O'Dowd Belt.
Yeah, but Bishop O'Dowd got to play up though.
Yeah, and that's, I think the higher ups will look at that and go, yeah, it's time to. They'll definitely edge them up for sure.
Yeah, because they shouldn't have played teams like Mount Diablo.
No,
shouldn't have played teams like that. They're gonna have to go up.
No, and remember when the coach was on here, and we talked a little bit. They're at a crossroads, right? Because they're getting some dudes again. They're winning some games, you know, in sections and in NorCals, and now a state title. And so now is the time for them to kind of like up it a little bit and challenge themselves, and, you know, up the schedule, and the section and the state also will step in and will up it for them, right? So they're going to make them kind of move up. So it'll be interesting to see how they do, you know, going forward, and if they decide to amp it up.
Yeah, shout out to the city of Oakland.
Yep.
Yeah, that got to go up.
Hey, shout out to the city of Oakland. Let's go West Oakland for a minute. Sacramento State hired my very good friend who I've known for 30 years, who was the architect, the original architect of building up McClymonds and Contra Costa College, and then on to Division I football. Alonzo Carter, the real Coach Carter, is now the head coach at Sac State. So we're all of us up here are really excited for him to take over the program, and I think it's going to be great. Shout out
Alonzo Carter. He coached at Contra Costa football, right?
Correct.
He was there 2015,
something like that.
There 20. I played against him in JUCO when I was at Shasta.
Yep.
He beat us. I think I had the last laugh though, because he came up because it was the first team in Shasta history to beat Contra Costa. They came up to the mountains with the mountain lions, and we took that quarterback out and put it on them. Yeah, we was the only squad to beat Contra Costa. That is pretty cool. So yeah, shout out to Alonzo. Was he at Arizona?
Yeah. So Alonzo has worked with Coach Brennan. They started off at his first D1 job was at San Jose State with Coach Brennan. And then Coach Brennan got the Arizona job, and Alonzo went there with him as a running backs coach, and I believe as the associate head coach, and has been working, to help build that program up. And they've had a really good year this year. And then when Coach Marion took the OC job at Colorado to go work with Dion, the opportunity opened up for Alonzo to get, his first major college head coaching job. I think it's a amazing story, man. I mean, you're from the backup dancer for MC Hammer to high school football coach to JUCO football coach, Division I, assistant, and now head coach. So Alonzo, we love you, man. We're excited for you. All of us in the coaching community are stoked. And
yep, shout out to Alonzo. But guess what, Alonzo? I did beat you though. You remember that 2015 year? When you came up there to Shasta? Don't you forget about that. I still got one up on you, Coach. Yeah, and he cool with Marsh Peoples and
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, we got next.
El Cerrito.
Oh yeah, the Gauchos. Very good.
Gary Youngblood, the ghost, the man, the myth, the legend. Number 1. He balled out. He had a good game. Shout out to El Cerrito. That was good for them. Was that their first state?
That's their first state title, I think. Yeah, I want to say it was even their first state game. They played in the NorCal before, but that was their first state and their first state win. So that's great for them. And they look good, man. Big old quarterback. He could sling it a little bit. And did a good job. They did a good job defensively, and the team they played was kind of interesting. It was called Beckman. I think it was a private school. They were pretty dialed in, pretty disciplined, ran their stuff. But at the end of the day, El Cerrito pulled away from them. Too much talent, man. Yeah. So they'll be the one that I think to bump up now that they got stabilized and everything's all straight from kind of some of the the scandal stuff that they had. Now that they're stabilized, I think they'll go back to being, kind of the main dudes in that area and getting the talent there and stepping up the schedule and all that stuff. So,
shout out to El Cerrito, man, for real. Gauchos. I think, Jake. I think that's it.
Yeah, Sonora did good. Shout out to Sonora. They rolled.
Sonora. Shout out to Sonora.
Yeah, and I think that was pretty much as far as our teams from up here. I think that was it. So, and it's been fun. I'm gonna go back to doing the football stuff and keep you posted. And appreciate you. And remember, whatever you need from me, just give me a holler. I'm around.
Man, I'm gonna miss you, Jake. Man, this has been fun, man.
Yeah,
it's been fun, brother.
We'll catch up for a burger or something.
Yeah, got you. Love you, Jake. Thank you for everything, man. For real.
Peace, my friend. Take care.
Yup.